It is almost the end of RTA season right now, and there are a lot of Summoners War veterans that feel like absolute crap because of the rank that they're at. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about a lot of you guys that I've talked to that are like, I can't believe I'm stuck in this rank. I have no idea why I'm stuck here. I feel like crap. I've been playing for so long because I'm here. Why am I here? I feel like I shouldn't be here. And I'm like, I agree with you. I feel like you shouldn't be there either. I feel like you should be at a much higher rank than you actually are. So let's take a look at this, because I feel like I keep mentioning this in videos, but I think some of you may need to actually visually see it to understand exactly what I'm talking about. So here is the World Arena season reward numbers. So if we end at 900, that is beginner rank. 950 is Challenger 1, Challenger 2 is 1,000, Challenger 3 is 1050, 1100, 1150, 1200, 1300, 1400, right? So keep this in mind. Fighter 1 is 1100, Conqueror 1 is 1300, Guardian 1 is 1700, or at least that's what we're made to believe. If we go all the way up here, 1900, 2000 points is basically, I mean, Comtuos is trying to tell us by this season reward table that 2000 points is basically where you would expect to be, like the legend contenders at 2,000 points. So I actually wound up doing a little spreadsheet for you guys. Let's switch around to the spreadsheet. Here's the spreadsheet right here. This is the exact same information that we just saw. 950 is Challenger, 1000 is Challenger 2, 1050 is Challenger 3, 1100 is Fighter, etc, etc, etc. We see from these little, I color-coded for you guys so you can see it nice and easy, right? Challengers over here, we got some Fighter, we got some Conqueror, we got some Guardian. Super easy, super clear, you can see everything. So this is the expected rank when you take a look at that table that they have. So this next table I'm going to show you is the expected rank next to the actual rank of the actual where you will end up if you have that amount of points. So now we see the expected rank next to the actual rank. So we have Challenger here. We have Fighter 1, Fighter 2, Fighter 3, 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 and Fighter 3. That's actually, if you are, and this is soon to be, this is going to be Fighter 3 soon as well. Right here, 1700, that's going to be Fighter 3 soon as well. Because the points are still moving, still shifting. We're a few days away from the end of season. So this is a little bit wacky. For this amount, like this is right here, all of this Fighter 3 stuff is supposed to be Conqueror 3 according to Comtuos table. Of course, it is based on the percentage that you're in, though. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the percentage that you're in. So when we take a look at the table, we have these sort of expectations of, oh, if you are good enough to get 1600 points, you're probably going to be in Conqueror 3. Whereas in reality, if you're good enough to get 1600 points, you are still Fighter 3. And a lot of people have a lot of misconception about Fighter. They're like, oh, Fighter 3 means you're a bad player. It's like, Fighter 3 in RTA just means you are a... Well, to be honest, almost half the community is in Fighter 3. As we can see over here, all of this is Fighter 3. And soon, this will also be Fighter 3. This seems a little bit wacky because soon, in like maybe 2 days, 1700 points, which according to the table, in the actual game, 1700 points, you visually see, you should expect, oh, this is probably Guardian rank. Soon, 1700 points is going to be still Fighter 3 rank. I mean, it's at like 1695 right now, I believe, somewhere around there at the time that I'm recording this. So then we extrapolate we go up to all of these. All of these are 1700, 1750, 1800, 1850, 1900, 1950, 2000, all still Conqueror. I took a look at a very popular streamer who is finished, actually, I think he finished G2 many times, and he was like actually higher than this and still in Conqueror 3. It's absolutely ridiculous the amount of points that you actually need to get to this. And I feel like this is very misleading in terms of what they visually show you and the actual rank. Because again, this is all of this is fighter ranks, guys. All of this is fighter ranks, and this is soon to be fighter ranks as well. This is very misleading. And a lot of people think that, I'm only at this, I'm only at Fighter 3. Wow, I must not be good. No, you're at Fighter 3. That means you're in the majority, and Comtuos is doing this on purpose. So let's talk a little bit about why Comtuos is doing this on purpose. And here we have a PDF presentation because, of course, Bagel made a PDF presentation. I just don't feel like half the community should be in Fighter 3. I have seen the point spread. You guys have seen the point spread. You have eyes. You can visually see how ridiculous the point spread is for Fighter 3. That should not be a thing in a balanced game. I mean, Comtuos really never said Summoner's War was wait, did they say? They probably thought that they probably think Summoner's War is balanced, but as we can visually see from the numbers, that's clearly not the case. So why is this happening? Which I've mentioned some of this stuff before in previous videos. Low-ranked players with under 50% win rates. I mean, I know everyone here watching has a 90% RTA win rate, just the same as the #1 player in RTA. We all have that same win rate. I know, I'm talking to the pros. But imagine your win rate is less than 50%. That means you lose more than you win. How motivated do you feel that you would be to continue playing a game that you lose more than you win? You just get in, you lose, maybe you win one, and then you keep losing and losing and losing. You probably wouldn't want to do any more battles at all. Or you'd probably want to find some automated software like, okay, it goes in, it does RTA for me. I don't want to lose, I just want extra points, right? So low-ranked players with under 50% win rates don't want to continue to play and be abused by more hardcore players. People have been dropping off every season because of this. The people at the lowest end of the totem pole, the lowest level of the totem pole, keep dropping off every season. That's why Comtuos had to increase the rewards. I think that was actually a smart move on that part. I feel like they were forced to, though. For every 60%, 70%, 80% win rate player, you need to have under 50% win rate players to balance it out. It is a 1-to-1 ratio. For every win, there must be a loss. I mean, there's also draws, but basically for every win, there must be a loss. So, a lot of players, maybe, okay, not a lot of players. If you have a 60% win rate, someone else needs to have a win rate below 50 to balance that out. Well, I just said that. I don't know why I'm saying it again. So, why don't they quit then? Many of them did quit. That's the current problem that has led us to the situation of half the community asking, why am I stuck in Fighter 3? Because everyone at this point in RTA is just all endgame players. All endgame tryhard players. And a lot of them are big spenders, and they're like, I'm still in Fighter 3. I'm like, that's because all the big spenders are, like, free-to-play players are... I shouldn't say free-to-play players are not doing RTA. There are some free-to-play players that do RTA, and some of them do pretty decently. You're not going to see them in the top 100 or anything, but some of them do pretty decently if free-to-play. They've also been playing for years. But a lot of casual players are not doing RTA because they're like, I don't need to be abused for 30 wings a day. That's not fun for me, right? So this problem will continue to be more exaggerated in the future the more casual players quit. So we've already had a problem with that. I'll show you guys a little taste of what I'm talking about at the end, because I know no one ever believes me when I say that. Every RTA season, more and more casuals quit, leaving the player base to be a higher percentage of competitive whales every season. When I say competitive whales, I also mean like competitive, like dolphins or guppies or whatever, just competitive players that are spending to win. That's what I mean. They may not be spending $2,000 a month. They may be spending $200 a month. But they're still playing to win, and they're still spending money, etc., etc. This is one of the reasons you see Guardian Wings and Transmogs in Fighter 3 ranks. The lowest win rate players keep leaving. So all the players that were in Guardian are now being dispersed throughout the rest of the... I mean, that's one of the things. It's one of the things, but... people are still doing RTA. Yes, many people still do RTA for the extra bonus points Comtuos implemented for RTA achievements. However, many are just using automated programs to pick, ban, and then auto without really playing. We already know this. This is not new information. This is very popular in China, which I've mentioned roughly 9 million times. And you guys also have observed it because you guys are not dumb. I'm also, you guys like, this person seems to not be playing, but I'm sure, and there's a Chinese flag, I'm sure it's a totally legitimate player. Like, right. I'm also not entirely sure all the players in RTA are actual legitimate players. It's very easy to stick a fake player at a certain rank in code without having an actual real player at that rank if a developer wanted to intend to mask a declining player base. We know that Summoner's War has if you guys don't know, Summoner's War has a declining player base and has had that for years. I mean, this is just a mobile game thing. This is not a Summoner's War only thing, but it's a thing. If people are trying to pretend that it's not a declining player base, then I don't know what to tell you. That's just how mobile games are. It's not like, oh, Summoners War is evil because they have a declining player base, or they're garbage because no, that's a mobile game thing. That's a gaming of all kinds. It even happens with console games all the time. So there's really no games that, very, very, very few, like small, like Among Us was one of the few games that it's like it had an inclining player base. The game came out and nobody cared, and then all of a sudden so many people started playing it. So generally games come out and then they just continue to decline and decline and decline, and they don't really pick up and you have a growing player base. So anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to mention this. It's not the first time Comtuos has fluffed numbers a little bit. Like for example, for streams, like when they have like, oh, we had X amount of viewers, we have X amount of views on this thing, we have X amount of views on that thing, like. Right, if you see some of the streams and it's like, it seems like there's not a lot of people chatting, but yet there's 10,000 people in the stream and the chat's not going crazy. Okay, here's something that I want you guys to take a look at. When there is a 10,000 viewer Summoners War stream, put that next to like a 10,000 viewer, I don't know, like Tectone has. What if he's not playing Genshin? What if he's playing like something else? He's got like 5,000 viewers. That stream was moving way faster than a Summoner's War stream. I know I'm pulling the veil up. I know you guys don't want to hear like, oh, Bagel, I can't believe you would say anything about our Lord and Savior Comtuos. It's the reality of the situation. Go pull up those streams. Next time there's a 10,000 viewer Summoner's War stream and a 5,000 viewer Tectone stream, see which one's moving like crazy, and it's not the Summoner's War one. And it's not even close. It's like for every one message in the Summoner's War, it's like 25 messages in his thing. I'm also not entirely sure. I already said this, right? I already don't need to talk about that point again because we already did. But if people don't like losing, why did they ever play Summoner's War? So I think there's a lot of try-hard, super hardcore players that don't understand this. Summoner's War in its original form is a standard in standard arena mode was an active player against a fixed defense, which was easy to counter if you had the correct units on your arena offense. This led to 80, 90, 95% plus win rates, very high win rates. But in PvP, there must always be a 1-to-1 ratio. The high win rate offenses were balanced by low win rate defenses, which gives people the dopamine rush of being good at the game since they won a lot. The whole standard arena PvP wins and losses were still balanced out at a 1-to-1 ratio, but the players felt way more of the wins directly than the losses, which were their static defense, and they did not experience firsthand like they do in RTA. Therefore, many non-competitive PvP players still played Summoner's War because it allowed them to play PvP and still feel good about themselves afterwards. This is not the case in RTA, where losses are felt directly firsthand. So how can Comtuos fix this? There are a few ways Comtuos can, not will, can. A few ways Comtuos can fix this. They can be more flexible with ranks, change the thresholds, and not allow previous Guardian finishers into Fighter and Challenger ranks to farm casual players. This would alleviate the stress and unpleasantness felt by casual players. We've mentioned this. I've mentioned this. You guys have mentioned this. Many of us have mentioned this over the course of years. Allow people to enjoy the game more. But is that what Comtuos really wants? Is it? Why don't they? Why don't they do that then? I mean, many of us have mentioned it many times before. It's been years. They could have implemented it. The real brutal, honest answer is that it's more profitable to leave it broken. If half the community is in Fighter 3 ranks, half the community feels ashamed of being a long-time player and not at the ranks they feel they should be with their time investment. This motivates them to spend more on microtransactions in an attempt to be more powerful and achieve the rank they should be. If they made the ranks more relaxed, easier to obtain, more inclusive, players would feel less guilted and less pressure to spend money to keep up. At the end of the day, these games are not about fun for the consumer, they are about maximizing revenue from the players. Almost every decision made is to maximize revenue, not to make and keep players happy. Welcome to mobile gaming. I know you guys don't believe me. I know after years you're like, no, they're trying to make a good game, Bagel. You don't know what you're talking about. I guarantee that the number one driving factor for every decision that they make is money. They are a business. They do not care how you feel. They want money, period. That's how businesses work. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the sooner you realize that about just society in general, the sooner you're going to not let yourself be the victim. Just in general, not with this I'm just talking in a broad spectrum. So what's next? Nothing. There's nothing we as players can do. As long as players continue to spend, it's completely irrelevant how players feel. The only way we can make our voice heard is with our wallets, and Com2uS makes millions of dollars per month. They have absolutely no reason to improve anything. Just like a child that throws a tantrum and is rewarded by parents with threat to quiet them down, we are rewarding Com2uS for continuing to emotionally manipulate us by rewarding them with millions of dollars monthly. It's the reality of the situation, unfortunately. I keep complaining, I know. You're like, Bagel, why don't you quit then? Because of you guys. That's why. That's the biggest driving factor. Yeah, so this is a poll that I made for you guys a month ago. How many of you still actually playing Summoner's War? So 9% of you, no, you're not playing Summoner's War. 28% of you are not playing, but I still have my account. So that is a 37% of you that saw this and answered. There's also a lot of people subscribed that didn't even see it because they're not even paying any attention to my channel at all. That's just reality. There's the 280 whatever thousand people subscribed. Many of them don't even know or care that they're still subscribed, and they quit Summoner's War so long ago and they're not even paying attention to any of these polls or anything. I'm just being realistic. Even if it's at my own expense, I'm just going to give you the real answer. So that's actually more than that. I barely play, very casually log in, get scroll 7, leave 37%. Yeah, I could have made more different variables, more options for people to choose. Actually, YouTube only gives you 4 options, so that's why I didn't make more. And then I play and grind most every day competitively. Some people were like, oh, but what if I'm in between get scroll, summon, and leave, and grinding all day competitively? If you feel like you're in between, you're probably in this 37%. You're probably in the not very competitive, just casual. If you feel like you're in between the two. Because I feel like people have a tendency to exaggerate or think that they're being more productive than they actually are. But anyway, yeah, so 26% of the people play grind competitively. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys some info on that. I just wanted to kind of get a discussion going about this ridiculous amount of, I mean, like, guys, Fighter 3 is half of the, let's go take a look at the spreadsheet again, man. Fighter 3 is, it's not quite half, but it looks like almost half, it feels like almost half of the community is in Fighter 3. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it's just, there's a lot that needs to change. There's a lot that won't change. I'm sure it won't change. We'll see what comes next in the next balance patch, because we know that we're going to have a balance patch pretty soon, actually. I'm not holding my breath. I know the last balance patch was... this one's supposed to be better than the last one and the one before that. But if they do something like the last one and the one before that, and they just make it very mediocre again, I don't even think we can call the last one mediocre. I think that the last one was just disappointing. I don't know, guys. I mean, I just want to bring it to the attention of everyone. And I think that it's really good to see it visually instead of just being like, oh, like, Bagel's saying this. Okay, right. But we can't see it with our own eyes, so how do we know? Like, this you can actually see. This is a little bit crazy. This is a little bit, and this is, again, is going to be 1700 soon as well. So if you are feeling bad about yourself that you're in Fighter 3, or you're feeling bad about yourself that you're in C3, and you're like, man, I used to be a Guardian player, now I'm C3. Well... yeah, it's the same points. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy how this is changed, and so many casual players have just stopped playing. So anyway, that's it for this one. Just wanted to get some discussion going on this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you as always in the next one.